The next fallacy that I want to talk about is the argument from authority. So I'm not always going to use the Latin terms, so I'll just shift to the English. It's a little easier on everybody. So the argument from authority goes roughly like this, that some person A says X, utters some kind of proposition, and the person A is an authority, and therefore X is true. Or as I put, you should you put something like you should believe X. No, but in the idea that wow, it's an authority, you should believe authorities. Well, we got to be careful about this one because certainly it could be the case that this is true, that person A said it, and it's true that A is an authority, but X certainly could be false, and maybe it's the case you shouldn't believe it. But some cases we would say arguments from authority, yeah, they're fallacies, strictly speaking, but they're not always bad. For instance, if what if person A is like Sally and it's something some sort of statement about physics, and Sally makes this statement about something to do with physics, and yeah, Sally's an authority. You find out, well, she's a professor of physics, a well respected physicist. Well, it's still possible Sally could get stuff wrong about physics. It's not, it doesn't make someone as an authority, it doesn't mean that everything they utter is true, even in their domain. But nonetheless, it's probably not a bad idea to, when the physicists are talking, to, at least give them the benefit of the doubt. So it's important to again, keep your wits about you, right? If it's an authority person, a person of authority talking, then you'd ask, well, are they speaking in their area of expertise? And the real problem with the argument from authority, really what's here is we can think of like a misplaced authority. So it would be something like this. Yeah, Sally is our person that we're talking about. Yep, Sally's a physicist, so she's great at that. That's not a problem. But Sally here is talking, let's say, about biology or sociology or things or philosophy or politics, right? So someone is talking about politics, and then you say, well, I've got a PhD and I'm a professor, and then you find out, well, you're a professor of molecular biology. That doesn't make you an expert in politics. So what you're looking at here is not just for the person being an expert, but what's your domain of expertise, and is it relating to what you're talking about? So the really straightforward version of the fallacy, that is the argument from authority, is when people are authority, it's in one domain, and they're using that authority to make pronouncements in a different domain. It's like trying to pack up your authority over here and just simply truck it over and use it over here. Whereas, that's deeply problematic because, again, being an authority in one area doesn't make you an authority in another. However, you might want to say, well, if you're an authority in physics, maybe you took some molecular biology as you got your physics degree. Once again, you have to keep your wits about you. But the basic idea here of the fallacy is really using an authority in one way, an authority that's accredited or gained in one way in a totally different domain. So, but this raises another interesting question about a relationship that I want to talk to you about, and that is basically the relationship between authority and truth. It seems that again, the truth of what Sally says, if she's talking about physics and she's a physicist, there seems to be some connection between authority and truth. So I want to talk a little bit more about that because that comes up a lot in regular conversations, even if it's not explicitly said, but it still is there. So let's think a little bit more about the relationship between authority and truth.